Welcome to the Martin Bailey Photography Podcast. It's July 10, 2023, and this is episode 817. This week we'll conclude our Namibia tour series with 10 more images from the final days we spent in the Etosha National Park and the reserve at our lodges just outside. I also have a recording from our amazing guests that I'll play you towards the end of the episode. As I mentioned last week, to avoid overloading you with Namibia by talking in full about both tours, for this second tour I'm trying to pick images that were special to the second tour, skipping the ones that were similar to the first one. The first image that I wanted to look at is one of my favourites from the trip, as two young white rhinos walked across a dusty plain that matched their colour palette perfectly. They were walking towards us and their bodies almost in line, but I waited a few moments until we could see part of the face of the second, enabling us to see better what was happening. It's great to see these animals with their horns, and it was also good to see this year that the rhino rangers were increased in numbers and seemed to be getting better equipment to track poachers and prevent them from achieving their evil goals. Unfortunately, I read that the reason for the ramp up in protection was because of a spurt of rhino deaths last year, which is, of course, not good news. The following day we had an excellent elephant encounter with some young. The herd was around 35 elephants strong, so I was happy to get this family singled out, almost like they were posing for a family photo. The youngster that we see in this photo was incredibly cute and boisterous, running around and jumping into the water, almost like a human boy that had been taken to a fountain or the pool in a park on a hot day. A group of zebra kicked up lots of white dust as one chased another around, biting its neck and generally giving the other zebra a hard time. The dust adds a lot of atmosphere to the shot, and the dirt being kicked up by some of the hooves is nice too. I cloned out some larger helpings of elephant dung as it was distracting, but otherwise it was an ideal situation to capture these beautiful animals in. I mentioned in my updates from the previous tour that although I'd been hoping for a chance to get some nice dick shots for many years, I was somewhat disappointed by their rodent-like noses when I finally got a chance to get some of these photos. This shot, though, I think, shows the nose so you can see what I'm talking about, but also, thanks to the beautiful big eyes of the dick and the lovely surroundings, it holds up as a shot, so I've included it in this update. Another elephant shot shows a large herd approaching a waterhole from between the trees. There is always something magical about a large herd of elephants as they walk without making a sound other than the occasional trumpeting of a large male or excited youngster. I cloned more than just a little elephant dung from the foreground of this shot, as the bottom of the frame was probably 90% dung. I'll probably prefer cropping this down to a panorama when I display it, but I have left it in the native aspect for now to give myself options. Here is another lilac-breasted roller shot, which I couldn't resist leaving in. I'm not a huge fan of smaller birds, but when you pack this much colour and that beautiful tail into a bird, its size becomes irrelevant. As we pulled up to photograph these birds, it was always fun to see who in the vehicle would get a shot, and who would recall that I'd recommended setting your shutter speed to over 3,200, ideally 4,000th of a second, to capture the detail as they took flight. During the morning, we found a beautiful cheetah with 2 cubs relaxing under a tree, but it was very far away, and the haze from the heat was stealing any detail that our lenses and sensors could otherwise muster up. We waited with them for a little while, but decided to go for lunch and wait for the heat to subside. When we returned in the afternoon, the family had moved closer to the road, and the heat wasn't so harsh, so we got some sharp images. We spent the entire afternoon with these cheetahs, and I will share 4 images of them to finish, as it was a very special encounter. First of all, here is the mother as she checked us out. She spent most of the time down in the grasses, so this was a nice opportunity to photograph her proud stance, even though it didn't last long. For this next image, I photographed 3 frames horizontally so that I could stitch together a panorama showing the mother lying under one tree and her cubs frolicking under another. They didn't seem to feel threatened at all, although a jackal moving around in the distance caused the mother to become more alert for a while. I love this next image, as one of the cubs puts its cheek against his mother's neck and they seem to synchronize their gaze for a while. I increased the shadow slider a little in Capture One Pro to open up the shadows, but I didn't want to overdo it and make the image look false. This is the final image from the trip and probably my favorite image from this tour, as the mother bowed her head to let the cub place a paw on her forehead. The bond between the 2 animals is obvious here, so I was really happy to capture such a special moment. Okay, so as I mentioned, we recorded a comment from each of the group members on our final evening together after returning to Windhoek before flying home the following day. It was an amazing group, with 3 of the participants having travelled with me before, and the other 2 quickly showed that they had a great sense of humour, so the group got along famously, making the trip even more special to me. If you listen to this, guys, thanks for making this an awesome trip. Okay, so we've just finished the second of my 2 complete Namibia tours for this year. I've got 5 wonderful guests with me. We are about to have our last evening meal together. And before we do that, we're going to record a few comments. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah, okay, Nick.
Hi, it's Nick from Hong Kong. This was my 5th journey with Martin, 2nd trip to Namibia. So of course I knew what to expect, and that's why I came back. It was a terrific trip last time and a terrific trip this time. The main difference between this trip and last trip was the group, and I include you and of course Foster. I've never had so much fun, and it's been really a great experience. Just what we needed for post-COVID to blow away the cobwebs. Thank you. And I hope we all stay in touch, because it really was fun.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nick. We're going to keep going around.
Well, we're the Asensios from San Clemente, California. I'm Val.
I'm Nancy.
And this was our first trip with Martin, but our 7th trip to Africa. And it was a real delight. We had a great time, nice experience, nice places to stay. Had to pay a little extra for the mouse in the room, but
yes.
Other than that, it was good. And the wildlife was very nice. And I'm generally a wildlife person. Nancy and I love the wildlife, but we really enjoyed all the landscape shots and the preparation for them and getting them exactly right. And Martin was very helpful with the settings, and very good experience. We really enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Yep. Nora.
Hi, my name is Nora from Canada. This is my 2nd trip to Namibia with Martin. I probably most enjoyed the Himba, which was a different group that we met 5 years ago. And the final afternoon, just watching a cheetah and her 2 cubs for the entire time. It was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ian.
Hi, Ian from Dublin in Ireland. So first time in Namibia, second time with Martin this year alone. As everyone said, an absolutely fantastic group that made it wonderful. The crack, as Irish people would say, was fantastic. The landscape photography, the Milky Way particularly, was one that I absolutely loved. The Himba people, as Nora said, was very, very almost moving in a way. And then the wildlife was fantastic. And I must as well then finally, and I hope he listens to it, but call out a really great thank you to Forster as well, who looked after us so well. And as ever, Martin, for giving us the guidance when we were getting things a bit daft. So thank you very much. Great trip.
No, not at all. So I did want to just quickly say that, I have completely enjoyed traveling with all of you. I think we've had a wonderful group dynamic, and I'm going to, not for me, for you, I'm going to give you a quick round of applause. So thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin.
It was great to hear from everybody again there. So next year's tour is already full, and I'm thinking to put the Namibia tour on the back burner after that for a while. But if you'd like to join me for a complete Namibia experience, feel free to drop me a line from our contacts page, which you can find linked from every page at martinbaileyphotography.com. Thanks very much for listening today. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider supporting us on Patreon, which comes with various benefits depending on your contributions, from basic support and access to the MBP Community Forum to full-blown photography mentorships. For further details, check out our Patreon page at mbp.ac/Patreon. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn, and links to everything that I'm up to are at martinbaileyphotography.com, so do drop by and take a look. I'll be back next week with another episode, but in the meantime, you take care and have a great week, whatever you're doing. Bye-bye.